3, 2, 1. Hi. You may know us from the radio. Today, we have a podcast studio.
See, I wanted Jay to actually intro this. We've done this 210 times before, and that's the first time you've actually been the one to intro.
Yeah.
That's how Jay does it.
I felt the vibe in this studio.
Well, it is Dark Side of the Stream, episode 211. As you can see, we've upgraded.
Yes.
We're now in this really nice, comfy
We're making
room.
comfy chair money now.
They said that us being in the studio didn't look good, so they wanted us to look good. So we're going to try
said
this
that?
out. I don't know. The 5 people that watch this thing. But
The viewers have spoken.
the 5 people that watch it. But again, so we're going to try and do the best we can in this room without any kind of...
We have a producer even.
Yeah,
we have
got a guy
Magic
sitting
Tyler,
there.
who's
So actually,
off
he's going to
camera.
look up... Magic Tyler's going to be the guy looking up all the questions I have that I don't...
Magic Tyler, don't screw this up, please.
But again, now that we got that out of the way, it is Dark Side of the Stream, episode 211, and this week was Jay's pick. It was McNair.
Yeah, a subject close to my heart, I feel.
Really?
Well, the previous life,
the
right? Yeah,
uh,
you're like, football?
the
What?
infidelity.
No, not football.
The infidelity. I was
Cheating
like,
and having affairs.
You're a big fan of Steve McNair. That's cool. Tell me how you know this
Nothing
guy.
about football. It was cheating and having affairs and ending bad.
Do you think all professional sports guys all get it on the side?
I would say a strong 90%.
90%.
Same with singers and musicians. I would say a strong 90%.
90%.
That's what I would think. I mean, at
That's a
least
sad outlook. If you're a professional athlete,
if you're dating
professional
one of them, that's the
musician,
sad outlook.
You're a professional anything in kind of media. That means that 9 out of the 10 of you that have partners in that field, you're, according to Jay's, partner's probably cheating on you.
Well, I've seen it.
Yeah,
And I've been a part of it.
you've seen it.
I'm in that scene. I'm in that world.
He's one of the 9. Well, I guess I'm one of the
old
one.
Jay. I've changed my ways.
But
let me say that clearly in the camera. I have changed my ways as of now.
I would say that it's kind of like in any kind of infidelity situation, it's always like a crime of opportunity.
Yeah.
When you talk about people in professional sports or entertainment,
Or even in the spotlight at all.
yeah,
like, kind of
the
famous.
opportunity people are always after you is one, but 2, you're always traveling and you're moving and you're going different places, so the opportunities kind of they pop up if you will.
Yeah.
But in this situation, McNair was an incredible football player.
I loved him as a quarterback. Yeah.
McNair is the nickname he got while he was in high school because he was, again, a really, really great quarterback.
Little country boy, just a country boy. It was
Yeah,
awesome
from
at
the
football.
South. Ended up having where he lost his life was he actually had a restaurant in Nashville at the time. But we'll get into that a little bit down the road. But before we got into that, we need to talk about all the things he did while he was in the professional sports arena in the NFL. And we'll do that next. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. .7 The Cave. Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens back in the...
Actual real studio.
What do you want to call this? The Dark Side of the Stream room?
The dark room?
The dark room.
Ooh,
That's good. That's good.
Nice.
The dark room.
Dark room.
Dark Side of the Stream, episode 211. Jay and Mike were discussing McNair, a documentary series. It was on Netflix, right?
Yeah, I think it's on Netflix. Been a while since I watched it.
It's been a while since I've been on Netflix. Honestly, I'm starting to rethink that subscription. Might have to start using your password.
Or your mom's password.
My mom's, if she still has, she might be using mine. Anyway, so yeah, McNair, like mid to late 90s, early 2000s career, never got a chance to win a Super Bowl, but did win, I believe, MVP. He was all pro.
Yeah, he was
years.
good, man. He was good.
He was a great quarterback. Kind of old school style, you know what I mean? He was a mix of the old and kind of the new that has started to kind of overtake in his style.
He was
of playing.
kind of the prototype for that style, maybe.
This period of time for me specifically in regards to the National Football League is a dark period because for the Kansas City Chiefs, the late 90s, early 2000s were absolutely abysmal for us. And it's funny because I went to games during that period. I can tell you I saw airplanes flying banners over the Arrowhead saying fire Pioli, the Hunt family doesn't care about you.
Wow,
business
really?
owner. Oh, dude, yeah.
Wow.
For years they did that and we're sitting there looking up going, duh, this is
A different vibe than now.
you were having
I guess,
way
right?
more fun leading up to the moment you walked into the gates, and then you'd walk in there and it'd just be completely deflated. So I bring that up because my memory of McNair, of course, I remember him, but it's also very clouded because I think my brain has done a really good job of just blocking that period of football
Yeah,
out.
I could see that.
Just because I don't really have a lot of great memories of that time period.
So he was a good football player and met a girl at Dave & Buster's, right?
You were meeting anybody at Dave & Buster's?
I mean,
honest answer. You're on camera now.
Probably.
There's no hiding.
I mean, but she's a bartender or server or something like that. So here's the thing: you meet.
Oh, but wait a minute.
Oh, I'm saying his.
Oh, no, I'm saying you.
Which is a common scenario to meet bartenders or servers, and if it's out there, he started hanging out with her, right? And one thing leads to another. And
where did you? Let's roll this back. You don't know if you met anyone at Dave & Buster's. Have you ever met anyone at a national chain?
Oh yeah.
Let's get a story here.
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I will say that. Probably can't tell you exact which national chains, but probably a lot of them.
Like McDonald's, Burger King.
I don't think I ever dated a McDonald's worker.
I've actually never picked up a chick at a national chain personally, but I did. I will give you my Dave & Buster's story, and that is one time, and I can't remember what game it was. I was with someone, and we went up to the one in Kansas City, kind of by Legends, and
I feel like you played the golf one.
I don't remember what it was, but I ended up walking out of there with like almost 6-figure tickets. We bought a rice maker. I mean, like I walked in there and they were like, "What?" And
you were balling if you walked out with a rice maker, dude.
I didn't need anything, and then I was like, "Wait a minute, that's a rice maker. I want that.
I'll take it."
And I was like, "Oh, that's a cool glass."
On me tonight.
Yeah, I want that glass ashtray too, and I want this, and the funny thing is like Jay is in there. Oh, look at you, sweetheart, and I'm like, "Oh, cool, I can get a rice maker."
You're walking out of there with a rice maker. I'm walking out of there with a baggage of problems for the weekend.
So again, I would assume in McNair's case, this wasn't the only one that he probably picked up.
I would assume not. I mean,
a lot of these dudes have girls in
every
cities.
City. Yeah, or every county.
More specifically, like let's talk about Tom Brady. Like he's a big commentator. I'm not saying that now he's like just. But, he's a single man and he's going to a different city every week.
And he's a good-looking dude.
Laying seeds and just making phone calls every time he's in L.A.
It's pretty easy
every time he's in Denver. And
it's pretty easy to have a girl in each city that your band goes and plays in or town. It's very easy.
It's a lot more easier than having to maintain them in the same area code.
True. But I was thinking of this when I was driving here this morning, knowing we were going to do this documentary. And I thought, okay, if you're a cheating type person or definitely probably a more risk adverse person, probably, right? Probably somebody that also probably is down with gambling and something like that. Like when you meet another cheating person, so you're getting you're taking two seedy people kind of and expanding their seedy universe. They probably know shady people. So you're getting yourself locked into a bigger scene, which is pretty much what happened to this dude. He got himself wrapped up in kind of a real shady scene.
Well, yeah, and again, that's kind of the old adage, like if your relationship begins in infidelity, one of you or both of you might end up doing the same thing because repeat offenders. And I get what you're saying, but I think in this case, I think that's actually a pretty good way to look at it.
You kind of associate with some shady people being shady.
But he was also
adding another shady person with their shady clique. Now the shady bubble is expanding.
I think it's part of that, but I also think it's part of the also idea too that he had a lot of money. And they were getting access because of that business he owned in Nashville.
Then he put this chick up in a pad.
He did more than that, and we'll talk about what that was. How kind of this whole thing started next in Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. Dark Side of the Stream, episode 211 on 104.7 The Cave. Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens. We're in our dark studio here discussing Aaron McNair on Netflix. A really sad story. You talk about a guy who had an incredible career.
Yeah.
He gets out. He starts doing some business moves, open up a restaurant in Nashville.
Successful guy,
And doing his thing. About a week or so before he was killed, he was riding around with the girl who he was found dead with. And I guess it was one of the workers at his restaurant. She ends up getting pulled over for a DUI. And I think this is kind of how the whole thing kind of started.
Spiraled.
And then it kind of started getting worse and worse. And after police, when they ended up finding him and this female dead in the apartment, I I don't remember it being that huge of a media frenzy. Do you?
I remember hearing about it.
I mean, I remember hearing about it, but this is
you
such a
clouded
crazy
that area of time out of your mind because of the
I guess
Chiefs.
that's what it is. Because like again,
poor Chiefs season.
I knew that he was shot and killed, and it was a crime of passion, essentially.
I mean, I think he was the quarterback, right, when they had that almost touchdown, right, like this short or something.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But still, again, like this is a huge deal. He has a mistress. You know, she ends up bringing him over to the party.
Yeah.
He goes over there to help her. She ends up shooting him and then herself. And then that's the end of the story. Cops do the investigation. They see that, he'd been in communication with her. He'd been giving her money, yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, I think it was just a woman that realized either she couldn't have him and no one could. Is that what you think it was?
She probably got a little crazy, man. Like, when I was living in L.A., I did a show once a week at this bar. One of the bartenders there, she was the one that exposed Tiger Woods. She was the one that was fooling around with Tiger Woods, and that whole thing blew up. So she got super famous for a little while. And I knew her during this whole thing. I didn't know she was having an affair with Tiger Woods.
Nobody else did until she decided to say something
to
about
put the beans out there. But yeah, and then because he had all those others. Why did she blow him up? I don't remember why she blew him up, but definitely she probably got some money out of this deal.
Well, I mean, don't make promises you can't keep. I mean, if you're going to try and sleep with it on the side, you need to tell that girl, hey, look, I'm in a committed relationship. If you want this to be on the side, great.
Right.
But I'm not going to leave my person for you. Again,
well, we
don't have a whole mess episode about how you shouldn't be. If you're to that point of cheating, you should probably
you should just
up
leave. Yeah,
and move on. But a lot of people just don't do that for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is. But yeah, ultimately, I think the documentary tried to make more of something that I don't think was there. I think ultimately it was a guy who had something going on the side. He gets either caught up in it
with a psycho chick,
and then she just has enough for whatever reason, and then just goes Looney Tune, and then that's it.
I thought it was. I thought there's more to the story as well, but maybe that's it. Maybe that was just.
What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like. Didn't it hint that there was like other people involved? Or something?
But the point is, if that's the case, you got to have some sort of motive, like who benefits from this.
I think this goes back to my shady part. So he's dating this girl that's kind of shady.
But nothing was. But she died herself, and it was a suicide, at least against the investigation. Did any money go missing?
Well, I don't know. That's why.
And again, the will situation, he died without a will and testament. And so all that money that he had went into probate court. They couldn't touch it until his wife then eventually asked the judge and said, hey, I've got kids. They need to have access to this. The judge's like, yeah, of course. Then they released it. But still, like, again, if there was some shadiness going on, maybe her man on the other side was
that's
like,
what
hey,
I was thinking, right?
Yeah, and I get that.
Like she probably had a guy
but show me the proof where he benefited.
Let's get some cash out of
where
this
they
dude.
benefit. There's no that didn't happen. I guess if again she didn't, if she hadn't died, then yes. But that where it stops is where she dies, and I guarantee you, like. This hadn't been told before, and maybe not people. And we didn't really understand the whole story, or just he got shot, crazy. But I think they were trying to make a mountain out of a molehill.
Which they do that in documentaries a lot.
They do that a lot, just like right here. It's Dark Side of the Stream. We'll be back after this on 104.7 The Cave.
A good tease.
104.7 The Cave. Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens back in the studio one more time. It is episode 211 of Dark Side of the Stream. We discussed Aaron McNair. How many Aaron McNair shoes would you give this
nice. Aaron McNair shoes? 2.
Yeah, I wouldn't give it a lot.
Yeah.
It wasn't, same.
I was hoping it'd be a little bit more exciting than it was.
But there was no twist.
Yeah,
it was just really, I know. Again, like I said, once you find out the story, it's a sad deal. It maybe should be used as a lesson.
Yeah.
Or if you're with someone, red flags, you should notice those things.
Yeah.
Again, if you feel like you need to cheat, go outside of your relationship, you should just
That's probably the best advice,
go to couples
Mike.
therapy.
That's the best.
What I do.
I've had a rocky past with relationships, and on this current one, I'm trying to do a much better, and I feel like I'm doing much better. Thanks partial to you.
Next week, we're going to actually have Jay's significant other in here to actually ask her the questions on if he is.
Can we bring her and my ex in at the same time?
They'll be in here by themselves. I do not get paid enough to deal with
Tyler
that.
would turn into a referee.
I wouldn't put Tyler in on that either because we don't pay him enough to deal with that.
Tyler can't be in the same room with two girls who get too nervous.
Maybe that's a whole other thing. Either way, you can watch us do this live in the studio on Facebook.
What's your pick?
I'll get there.
Oh,
Facebook Live, YouTube on Thursdays at 9 a.m. Listen to it on this podcast on our 104.7 The Cave app or during my show or Jay's show, 9 a.m. or 6 p.m. Next week, we are going to watch the documentary on Disney+. It is called Beatles 64, about the year the Beatles took over America. One of my favorite bands.
Yeah,
I'm a
the
huge
Beatles are great.
And it should be pretty easy for us to discuss the Beatles in 1964
Nice.
in this chair. Jay, how'd we do?
For our first time in this podcast studio, I guess we'll find out when everyone sends us
Tyler,
letters.
what do you think?
Tyler, did we look
Tyler,
good?
thumbs up. He's hard to
Did we look
impress.
good? I haven't washed my hair for 3 days, so
He's the one that's going to have to edit all this crap.
Yeah,
so
good luck with that.
Good luck.
Tyler.
As always,
Tyler.
we watch movies
Documentaries,
so you don't have to. It's Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave.